It's the talk with Micah and friends. It's the talk with Micah and friends. Grab all your friends and gather around now. They're gonna have a real good time. It's the talk with Micah and friends.
Hello, everyone. It is me, yes, me, Micah Pierce. I hope all is well. Hope that everybody's doing fine, during these COVID-19 times. So again, welcome to the Talk with Micah and Friends. I really appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Now, some of you may know, and some of you may not. Okay, know that I've had this platform to talk with Mike and Friends since December of 2013. I started off as a podcast, but it quickly grew into a live conversation on blogtalkradio.com, where I have about almost 90 episodes, which can still be found on iTunes. You can click on the Purple Podcast app on your iPhone and just put in the Talk with Mike and Friends, and you should be able to see me. I think on Apple it's like the Talk W/Mike and Friends, something like that. So I have all the episodes there. So I thought that it would be a good time to come back and pick up where where we left off. Now, I've always had these panel or group conversations since the start of the show, starting with the Real Raw and Uncut series, where we exclusively, without judgment, talked about everything, including sex, friendships, relationships, kinks, and all that great stuff. And then I started developing a more subdued, not really subdued, but subdued, but not uptight, not so raunchy series titled Candid Conversations, where we focus more so on things in the news and politics and social and community conversation. And now we are here with Micah's Mini Break Conversations, where we will focus more so on things that are happening either via social media, pop culture, or just around town. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on today's panel. I hope you guys enjoy them, as I'm sure I will as well. So from the great state of Texas and the conservative city, of Dallas. He's actually out and about right now, but let's go ahead and welcome Mr. Darnell. Well, now he's gone, so we're gonna move on to the next person. Yeah, I know, right? We will have technical difficulties every now and again, I'm sure, because some people are on their phones, some people are on their laptops or computers. So if they happen to come out, they'll come back on. So let's go ahead and welcome from by way of Buffalo, New York, now living in and residing in Jacksonville, Florida. Okay, one of my brothers, his name is JonJon Balenciaga.
Hey, hi, John. What's going on, everybody? Hey.
All right. So now let's go ahead and welcome. He is one of my newfound friends, living in the Big Apple, NYC, and the creator and host of the Spilled Milk podcast. Let's welcome DEMI, also known as Demi.
Good afternoon and good evening, distinguished panel of judges. Hey.
Okay. All right. And let's go ahead and welcome. He is from originally the East Coast, now residing in the hills, Los Angeles, California. He is also someone that has known me all of my life. And this is my cousin. This is Mia Monet Mugler, aka Jane. Okay.
Everybody.
All right.
What's up, James?
How are you, love?
So let's see how I want to have this. Well, once Jeremy comes on or Darnell comes on, then we'll figure it out. But so let's go ahead and start. I hope all is well. Hope everybody's ready for this conversation. So let me go ahead and start with the very first one, and let me put this on the screen for us. And let's focus on this particular topic first, and then of course with this particular question, it will derive into other things. So I'm sure you all remember when this video debuted. I believe it debuted in so early this year or whatever. Montero this is the video in the song by Lilnasx. And, you know, about 2 years ago around Pride, Lilnasx came out as gay of the LGBTQIA plus community. So let's just focus on the video first. How many of you actually saw the video?
I saw the video.
Everybody saw the video. Okay. Well, I just saw the video today. Okay. For the very first time. On Twitter, you know, people were going off, showing images, and I'm like, ooh, that's a little satanic for me. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't think I'm gonna watch that. But because I did this, you know, I'm doing this particular podcast, this show, I felt like, you know, it was time for me to watch it. So when you initially watched the video, what did you get from it? What did you gain? What did you think? Just give me your unadulterated truth on that.
It really wasn't satanic to me. It really wasn't. It was just artistic, very artistic. It's just his level of art. And he's creative. He's trying to be a dancer, which he's not. God bless his 1, 2, 3, clap, clap. But his creativity is there. And it's basically in his head, he's protecting the straight people, dancing with the devil. Because that's what they think we're doing because we're gay. And when we're with men and everything, we're dancing with the devil. So he just took a play on it and made a video.
Okay. John, Demi?
I'll go.
I took away. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Demi.
Okay. Personally, I was gonna say my daughter ate that. She had me definitely trying to bust a stripper pole on this lamppost that I have over here. I thought the video was fine. I didn't see no issue or wrong with it. I feel like had it been anybody else, the girls would have been okay with it. But because it was him, and because, you know, the whole he's gay and he shouldn't be dancing with the devil and the satanic thing, I think that's what the girls are in an uproar for. But I actually enjoyed it.
Okay, John, what did you think of the Lilnasx Montero video?
I pretty much have the same sentiments as everyone else. I'm not gonna say it wasn't satanic, because I definitely feel like it has some demonic and satanic references, but I understood the messaging, like dancing with the devil. So I understood the point of those references, but I enjoyed it. And what I applaud about anyone is just being your authentic self. And I feel like above anything, that's what he displayed. He was really just being himself and like presenting where he is in life right now based on like his career and how the public is receiving him and his choices. So yeah, I enjoyed it though. I liked it. It was hot. It was really hot.
Okay, and let's welcome Darnell, everyone. Let's welcome him to the show from the great state of Texas. Okay, from the great state of Texas, the conservative city of Dallas. Okay, he's currently traveling right now, but thank you for joining us. And we're talking about Lilnasx and the Montero video. So we're not talking about anything else other than what did you initially think when you saw? Did you see the video first and foremost?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And I told everyone I just saw the video today. So what did you think when you initially saw the video? What did you gain from it? What did you get from it? You know, what was your overall perspective of it?
Let me go on record saying that, first of all, I'm an atheist. So I don't necessarily understand when we put demonic titles on that. And then second, I'm an artist. So I definitely understood where he was as an artist. And I feel like art can be interpreted in many different ways. And I think Lilnasx just put that in a form that was triggering to most people who read the King James Version of the Bible. I think he can go a little bit further and just be artists are weird. And so as an artist, it's great to see him express himself or what he felt what he expressed who he is as a person now.
Okay. Now, and I appreciate your point of view. So question to everyone: how many of you watched it more than once? Why did you watch it more than once?
Because the beat was hot.
I agree.
It was.
I like
I definitely was like, he could be fun.
He had on thigh highs and was on a pole, going to hell. Bitch, that's how it would go. I'm going to hell. Thigh highs and a pole.
No, so I'm not saying all that. I like the video. I liked it. I like the song. I like the video. It was good. It was, you couldn't. Oh, well, I mean, I think if you're a lover of music and if you're a lover of art, you definitely had to watch it more than one time to appreciate it, because it was a really good video and it was extremely artistic. And yeah, I like that he's trying to dance. It's good. It's hot. He's hot.
I read an article where he said that he wants to continue making content to help bring queer narratives forward into mainstream music. He said he feel like that's really important for representation in general, and that he hopes that it's going to open more doors for one day when someone's like, oh, this person said that, and I didn't even think about it. So I guess he's trying to say, like, if you happen to see other artists or people doing things such as that in mainstream music, it's like, oh, it's nothing. It's art. It's their perspective. It's their thing. So that was the reason as to why he decided to make that particular that video. Now, we all know that he performed Montero on the BET Awards, right? And that was
Right.
on Sunday. And but I'll bring that up in a second. But before that, you didn't really hear much conversation about when he performed it on Saturday Night Live. Okay? So this is when he performed it on Saturday Night Live, and I watched it, and I was like, okay. And then the guy Yeri on the left, I follow him on IG. So I was just excited that he was, in the, on the stage performing or whatever. And then I think the only thing that people really talked about was the fact that, his pants split the end or whatever the case may be. So we didn't really hear much about it from Saturday Night Live. But we started hearing a lot about it when he performed it on BET and kissed Yeri, the same background dancer or backup dancer on stage. So why do you think we heard more about it on BET or after BET versus when he performed it on Saturday Night Live a month or so prior?
Because the black people.
Yes, I definitely think it's because of black people, but I also I like to pose the question, why do you think he decided to add the kiss at the BET Awards versus doing the kiss on Saturday Night Live? So as much as we can talk about why he did what he did or the response that he's getting, I think both pieces play a big role in it.
I say the lick, that sensual lick on Saturday Night Live was a bit more than a kiss on the BET thing. I think all that was more sexual. Because kissing is all. You don't go out just licking on people in public. That's a bedroom activity.
I don't also just.
John, do you lick people in public?
Do you open mouth kiss everyone in public?
No, let's be honest.
So here's the thing. For me, it's entertainment, and it's not meant to be
Give me your name.
personal. I think what he did on the BET was perfectly okay in the form of entertaining. And if as long as we just let that be for what that moment is and stop trying to apply it in our own personal lives, but that's what I've read social media anyway about kids and pop culture and being a role model. At that point in time, he was just entertaining the audience, being an entertainer. And I think that's what we should also keep in mind. That it's still a job. Either way, it's not necessarily who they are as a person, but it's still a job.
Right, and that I feel like that sounds good. Yeah, we didn't even get into any of those specifics. That all sounds good.
I need y'all to hear me.
But
go ahead, Demi.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Demi.
I just have to get in this mic. Two things. First things first. He actually was gonna do the kiss on Saturday Night Live, but because he ripped his pants, the nerves took over. So they just paid the whole ending how it really supposed to be. So he just did a little lick and go. Of course, the Saturday Night Live girls are gonna go for that because they live. If you breathe too hard, it's a hit. I feel for the BET Awards. However, he wanted to shake the room, and I don't blame him. He was a little bit more comfortable. He practiced. They gave him a brand new wardrobe. He didn't have to worry about no costume malfunction. So he now can be his authentic self. I totally agree. The little chicken two steps are cute. Even when he walked up the stairs and did a little hip hop, she ain't got no rhythm, and I live for her down. But I feel like the BET Awards was a prime place to really shake the block. I mean, we watched Madonna and Britney kiss each other. We watched all these other stuff. So why not do it in a predominantly black award show?
So my thing is, let's say that then. Let's say that. Because we're saying that in defense.
Why do we need to?
Versus saying that because it's a part of the conversation, right? You saying why do we need to say it? Because it's a part of the conversation. We're having a conversation about it. That's why it needs to be said. Tell the truth and shame the devil. It was to shake the room, like you said. It was for entertainment purposes, right?
It was. It was. It was to get the people. It was to get the people to do what they're doing now.
Exactly, and I agree. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like let's say that also.
Okay, so he said this.
We also have to realize that he's 21. I think that he's 21, and I remember being at 21. I was hella dramatic, so he's hella dramatic. I don't think anybody just walks around licking and kissing on people in public. Just saying.
So he said this on Twitter. He said, "It took me a lot of time to mentally prepare for this performance. While on stage, I was trembling, knowing that I was performing something like that in front of my straight peers. Even during the performance, I was having a hard time calming my nerves. Thank you guys for the love." So my question to you all is, when I read this, I'm digesting, I'm thinking from different perspectives and different narratives. And my thing is, were you put up to this by your manager or agent or whoever or your team? Because for you to say it took a lot of time to mentally prepare for this performance,
He didn't want to do it.
well, why are you really having to? I mean, I understand preparing for a performance, but I would be nervous as hell if this was someone said, "Hey, I think you should do this at the show. I think this would be good, and this and the other, and spin this narrative, whatever." I think I would be a little bit more nervous doing that versus saying, "I'm going to do this. This is what I want to do," and coming out there, I wouldn't even be nervous because it's just what I want to do. So, how do you guys feel? Do you feel like he was put up to this?
Yes, he was. It was the manager's decision to do this thing to get some kind of notoriety. There's something going on. By him making that statement, if you're rehearsing this over and over and over to do it in front of people, you're not going to be nervous to do it. If you're nervous, it's something you don't want to do or don't feel right doing at this event or place. So I think his team, which has a lot of control over him because he's young and he's new in the business and really don't know that he can control his narrative, but they are controlling it because they run everything and they made him do it.
I also agree, and I feel like it was also Pride Month, so this is a perfect opportunity to showcase another person living in their truth. It's no shade. It really didn't have to be the BET Awards. It could have been any other place. But him tweeting that clearly showed that they were pushing him that you need to do this. You need to get out there, and because the song been out and you've been performed it, so you performed. He has another song out, a slower bop, so you could have performed that one. But of course, it's Pride Month, and let's put on your little panty and get out there and look like a man.
This is my question: did he kiss the devil in the video? I can't remember. Did he kiss the devil in the end, or he just?
No, he just did like a little strip tease, and then he went behind him, and then he just twisted neck, and then he put on the crown, and he became the devil.
Yes, you should have kissed him in the video and let them see that on the video and play it over and over.
Yeah, they would have been more in the uproar.
Okay, so when I'm going back in my mind right now, thinking about the video. And so let me make sure that I was understanding the right way. So in the video, he's in the garden, all right? And I would assume that he's pure, and then the snake wraps around the tree, right? And so that's supposed to signify, back in, Genesis and Adam and Eve or whatever. And he kisses the snake. And at that point, they're saying the snake represents sin and being homosexual is a sin. Like, am I getting that right? Or
we're snakes,
right?
We're the house of Slytherin in the garden. Yes, we're the house of Slytherin.
The serpent. We're the serpent slithering through the garden.
Yeah.
Okay.
We stood on his wings and then they knocked us on our ass because we kicked Jesus off a donkey if you read the Bible.
Now, this is something he also said, because I'm going to get into something that two other people, one on TikTok and one is used to be working in the industry. Now he went to reality television. But this is another tweet that Lilnasx X tweeted. He said, "Since y'all doing all this over a kiss, I'ma just fuck the nigga on stage next time." Someone says, "Lilnasx X, are you a top or bottom?" And he says, "I'm a power bottom."
Yes, power bottom. Oh, girl. She got walls like Home Depot. Go ahead.
No, it was when he added the Beyonce lyrics behind it for me.
Oh my goodness!
Did you see that?
What did he say?
The part where he says we teach women to shrink themselves. It's from Flawless.
Oh,
You know the little
okay.
breakdown with the
Right.
woman speaking. He put the lyrics underneath that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because he said they were people shame bottoms because our bottoms and our lifestyle. So we
Mhm.
get shamed a lot. So he just claimed to be a power bottom. I
And
don't know because
we love bottoms. We love
who is
bottom.
it? Oh, well, thank you so much, love. You're so sweet, JonJon.
We need you guys.
Amen, and we need you.
JonJon, let's not. Okay, so, so listen. So now that was not me agreeing to be one or the other. I'm just saying.
Oh,
Okay.
girl.
So Benzino posted this.
Oh,
I
girl.
wish I could spread it across the screen, but I couldn't. So Benzino says, it says that shit BT pulled yesterday was lame as fuck. It was too uncomfortable, too irresponsible, too forced, and too irrelevant to the awards. Homie ain't even hot like that for music anymore. Anyway, it's a shame what all this is coming to. I wish I had the backing to bring the Source Awards back. Then, hold on, Demi. Then Benzino says, I bought of Old Town Road for Zeno. He knows every word, but all the satanic shit I'm just not with. I mean, how do you explain shit like this to your kid? I got nothing but respect and love for the gay community, but that ain't it. I could see if he was he says pooping. I don't know if he meant just popping, but it was unexpected and unnecessary. I didn't care for the Madonna kiss either. I could see if they were dating. Now I hope I didn't offend anyone because this post wasn't meant for that. It's just my opinion of the production. Only God judges. Now, before Demi lashes in, let me say this. Let me say this. Benzino, let me first go back into this. You cannot say that you respect the community, and I have feedback. I don't know why. Is someone listening to this on two different things? Because I hear like feedback. But you can't say that you respect and love the community or whatever, but then say, well, what is all this? I feel like it was uncomfortable, irresponsible. How do you explain it to kids and this, that, and the other? You know, I'm that part I'm not really understanding, you know, because honestly, you don't respect us. And then you talked about, and then you can go, then you talked about, well, if that was his lover or his partner or whatever the case may be, how the hell you know it's not his partner? You know, like it really could be, but who gives a fuck? Why do you give a fuck that much? Go ahead, Demi.
First things first, Benzino, your neck is uncomfortable. So let's start there. Second of all, it was uncomfortable for you, but it was okay for you to sit down and watch the City Girls twerk and pum pum shorts all the way up inside them like they was going to have a yeast infection. Then you claim that you want to bring back the Source Awards, so you just want a bunch of guys on stage talking about they're going to shoot and kill and murder in oversized clothes, and that's what I'm talking about. Y'all feel so uncomfortable watching Lilnasx do a little 1-2 step, but everything else was comfortable. It is always a double standard, and not to say that I'm tired of it because I've been tired of it, but Benzino, you don't really have the range to even give commentary on what is uncomfortable for you because your neck can't even turn a 60-degree angle. So, you know.
Benzino, first of all,
Benzino makes me uncomfortable.
Hold on 1 second. Darnell, go ahead.
He was on reality TV, and I just think that you don't have the wherewithal, honestly, to speak on anybody who's hot right now, whose songs go number one on iTunes. Honey, where's Benzino's record? You don't have that, you know. And he does reality TV, so that's close it.
I think for me, it's just a little bit deeper than like Benzino, like his post in general. But like, first of all, where is he at mentally that he felt like his opinion mattered? Like that's where I have to start. But then also like it rings volumes though, because if you look at the comments, I looked at the comments like to see so many black men and women agree with those opinions that he shared. I think for me, when we talk about progress and we talk about it being Pride Month, like we are still so far from where we think we are. And that like Benzino is speaking the truth of a lot of our black male counterparts and how they look at us. Like it's unnecessary and we make them uncomfortable. And to Demi's point, you want to talk about bringing the fucking Source Awards back? Like literally, like hip hop lost many of its greatest artists as of like because of the shit that happened from Source Magazine and the Source Awards and the culture that they promoted. And we're not going to even talk about how they treated women. Like that's a whole nother discussion. So for me, it's just all a little bit like unwarranted, and I feel like I wish a lot of the black gay celebrities would have spoke up and told Benzino like really like put him in his place. Like, you don't have an opinion on this matter, or even like just the allies. Like, you're not an authority on this. Yeah, it bothered me a lot.
It didn't matter because it's Benzino. They're not going to waste their breath.
That's
first and foremost.
That's the part.
Second of all, Benzino, you can't talk about nobody doing nothing to nobody at any time, any place, anywhere. Then y'all gonna sit there and watch Meg and Cardi B roll around on the floor like two flat mamas and walk and said nothing, congratulated them and enjoyed it. So because a black man that stands in his truth went up there and kissed who the fuck he wanted to kiss, excuse my French, on your show, you're mad. Oh, you're mad that this man did what he wanted to do in his time. That was his moment. He got picked to be. Benzino, when have you ever did something at a BET award? I'll wait.
My question is, why do we even care what he had to say?
Because honestly, he's intrigued. Because little Benzino won't.
Well. I'll say it's not that I care. For me personally, I don't necessarily care about what Benzino or any other heterosexual person thinks about our community, but I also feel like it is, if we are put in position to educate and to show the world who we are, then let's do that. Because I'm a firm believer in you have to really, when you're rearing children, when you're bringing them up, you can show them or tell them one thing in your home, right? Or shelter them from something in your home. Say, hey, I preach this, I preach that. I want my child to be this, that, and the other. But when your child walks out of that door, right? And your child goes to elementary school, middle school, high school, college, they're going to become aware of a lot of things that aren't, and a lot of people that are not like them, that may be like them, that they may possibly connect with. Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, you can try your very best to keep your child sheltered and from everything that is gay, bisexual, lesbianism, trans, whatever the case may be, but they're going to see it. So it is your responsibility. And I told, my good girlfriends who may honestly be watching me right now on another platform that I'm recording on as well, or that I'm live on, is that you have to show your children the world, and you have to really, you may be uncomfortable, but your child is just going to come in contact with people who, are different, and at the end of the day, what you need to do is just respect. You know what I'm saying? And that's all that I have in reference to Benzino, right? Just respect, us or whatever. But I want to go back to Lilnasx for a second in regards to, you remember how when Billy Porter really came out, well, not really came out, but when he got on Pose and he was going on all these red carpets and he was doing these different looks and things of that nature, and the gays was having a problem or whatever, that's on them. But I felt like, this is my own personal opinion, I want to hear you all. Do you feel like, as far as Lilnasx, that he began to dress a different or, more extravagant type of way because he wanted to do it, kind of go back to the performance, or because someone put him to it?
It was tick for tack. Billy, you got this one, I'll take this one. Girl, you got that one, get this one, daughter. Wear this dress, I had this made for you. That's what Billy did. Billy opened the door for her to be, I guess, have the idea to do it, and now he just want to do it on a different level.
But is he? But you think it's him or it's his people?
His people.
I think I will say the difference between feedback that Billy Porter got and what Lilnasx got is the ageist feedback, and about what do you call that? And physique feedback, that why they get two different kinds of feedback. And even though they dress similarly and do the similar things, and I'm going to just name it dramatic, is very different in how we approach Lilnasx, and then how we just kind of really attack onto Billy Porter and just say, oh, but this is just too much. Like, we can't take this. But I think it's the same thing.
I was gonna say.
Go ahead, Amy. And then John.
Oh no, I was gonna say for Billy Porter, I look to him like one of my old aunts. She gonna wear whatever she want to wear. She been doing this since 1900. So it's gonna get done. For Lilnasx, however, I remember when Old Town Road first came out, and he came out and all that stuff. tweeted, it probably got deleted, but he tweeted that he just wants to be a regular gay person. Not too much, not too little. He's just here to make music. And it's so glad that we keep talking about the team. I personally feel that he may think one way, I just want to wear this, but it's his team putting him in these over extravagant suits with flowers and all that stuff. And when you go to an award show, you're gonna wear this frilly stuff because it's Lilnasx. Why not? That's your gimmick now. You're the gay artist that gets to go to everywhere now. So you're gonna absolutely, you're definitely gonna put on that with the parachute pants and the little kitten heel and pump through the place. So I feel like for him, he may just want to put on a regular suit, but it's the team that's pushing the narrative of let's just be bigger, let's go extra.
Well, couldn't it be that he's like two different kind of people? Like what he wants personally is one thing, but Lilnasx is like that. You don't have any creative control in regards to how you present yourself.
Absolutely, Montero could be one person, and Lilnasx, the brand, has to keep up with the trend of whatever for the month is going on. Right.
And I think for me, when you talk about Billy Porter, and I heard someone even say like he's been doing this for a while, but it's like, has he? Like I feel like to a point it becomes performative. Like Billy Porter has been around for a very long time. If you watch like old Law and Orders or just older television shows, Billy Porter has been around. But on the red carpet, like I've never seen him carry in such a manner, and I do appreciate some of it. But to me, at some point, it does become a bit performative. And I did think about that Lilnasx tweet from when Old Town Road came out, and he first came out, and he was just basically saying, "I'm just a regular guy." So when you start seeing all of these big changes in personality and character, you think about the team, you think about the engine behind it. But then for me, when people are saying, "Oh, it's him being his authentic self," I'm like, is it so, or is that what his label is defining as his authentic self?
I definitely think it's a little bit of him. I definitely think it's two different personalities. I think Lilnasx is one. Whoever this is in person is a whole nother person. I think that Lilnasx has a persona to keep up with, and it's an awesome personality. I don't know if it's. I'm not gonna say it's not his authentic self, but it is an alter ego, and it's something that you can kind of pour into.
I guess for me, it's like I love it. I love to see us not just because he's gay, but because he's black and he's youth. Like I love to see him win, right? But for me, I'll love the day. And I feel like when we've made progress as black gay men, when we have representation that is not always completely over the top. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that and that I don't appreciate it, but that's not every gay man's story. And I feel like there are so many times like that, I've had the pleasure of like seeing all of you interacting with all like in some capacity, and none of us, that's not representation of any of us other than we're black and we're queer and we have the ability to present like that. But I would just love to where like it's just not a thing, it's not a trend, it's not a fashion statement, it's not a moment. Because this is really like our life. This is like really who we are. So when we talk about authenticity and representation, like that's where my mind goes. Like, is this truly representation?
It's always going to be a moment, though.
Just like we in the community, whether just the United States, we come in all different shapes, sizes, colors, whatever, right? The same thing for our community, the LGBTQIA plus community. We come in many different shapes, sizes, personalities. Not all of us are flamboyant. Not all of us are the trade or highly masculine or whatever the case may be. Not all of us, twist and bend and So I kind of hate sometimes that while we're trying to show the world many different facets of our community, there's always a machine back there trying to push it forward that we are like this and this only. And so I think a lot of the times and I'm not heterosexual, but maybe the heterosexual men feel like, damn, like, I don't want to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then a lot of heterosexual men, honestly, they don't mind having conversations and being friends with guys who are like them per se, versus guys who may be like, you know, as flamboyant or as open in film as Billy Porter.
Because they're gay. Simple as that.
Yeah. And I used to say this all the time, you know, living in Atlanta, like any man that's threatened by me or my friends or whatever, or wants to call out the fact that we're gay or use the F word or whatever, baby, you're insecure, you have issues, and you're dealing and battling with your own sexuality. I've always thought of that. You're dealing with your own thing, and the thing that frustrates you is that we can live authentically in our truth and who we are, and you can't. But you can.
I just think
Go ahead.
And for me, I just think pageantry and pompous and grandeur is just things that's innate in African Americans and African people. We just always do that and be this grand, over the top kind of thing. We set trends, both heterosexual and homosexual gay people. So I think gay people is this lively, over the top, colorful, sparkly, grand kind of people. But that tree also could be said in other parts of our lineage. And so I don't think it's a bad part, or that's not the only way that gay people can be seen in the world. It's really just a celebratory way of Black gay people anyway, because white gay people be looking crazy when they hit the red carpet. But Black gay people are always coming out looking good, smelling good.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Tell me raise your hand when they stop beeping. Okay, when they stop beeping, raise your hand. I'll bring you. Okay, they stop. Okay, go ahead.
Bitch, did you see me look at her like, oh my gosh, are you that rude, bitch?
Right. But God, where was I about to go with this? Hold on, give me a second.
I was just talking about the grandeur and the pompous circumstance that Black people give for anything. You just take Easter Sunday, people in their finest, and this is just church, you know. So I don't think that when that's who we always present ourselves as. This is a top award show. I'm a new artist. I'm 21 years old. Everybody's going to be there. Let me put in my best of the best, and that's just how that is.
You know what I paid attention to? I paid attention to, and John, you can chime in a second. What I paid attention to was the audience, right? I paid attention to the audience after he performed on the awards. And you see, you know, some queer women, you know, like Lena Waithe going in, you know, and Cynthia Erivo. I'm not saying that she's a part of the community. I'm just saying she was, you know, going in. And I see other women, people standing or whatever. And I saw a couple of guys. But then you see like a couple of guys like, oh, yeah, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? Like,
they're uncomfortable.
Huh? Yeah, they're uncomfortable.
They're uncomfortable.
Yeah, they're uncomfortable.
I don't get it. I don't get it, baby. Help me understand it.
This is where I'm going to chime in right here. A straight man that's sure about himself ain't uncomfortable about shit, because they ain't got nothing to do with him. Right. If you're uncomfortable, something about that performance that hits home.
It hit a nerve.
At your front door, so you got to sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine.
So this person said on Twitter, they said Lilnasx X isn't the issue. The Weeknd got a Kids' Choice Award for a song about cocaine. Your problem isn't with his music or what's in it. I was listening to Chief Keef at 11 years old and nobody said anything. Your problem is that he's gay and poking holes in the religion that has oppressed him. Call it what it is.
Facts.
I think that's one version of it, or one point.
I think it's definitely I think it's definitely the religion of it, and then I also think it's because of religion, Black communities have adopted this. Like, you could be gay, but just don't talk about it, or just don't do it in my house, or I just don't want to see it. So that's why Benzino felt like it was okay for him to say, "Oh no, I'm okay with y'all cool, but y'all almost like y'all should be seen and not heard." And that's the problem. That's where the problem it is for me. Like, that's why I'm like, Benzino, bitch, excuse me, you should not be seen, and we don't want to hear you either.
No. But you know what the twist of this is gonna be?
What?
Benzino, little son that he bought the Lilnasx X CD for, gonna turn out to be gay, and we're gonna see what he has to say then when it's in his house. Because you can say all this shit when you don't think it's in your home, but when it's in your home, let's see how different you think then.
And then you get most parents that go, I had to reevaluate my life and I had to learn. And then I
Yeah,
love my child now. And because I don't want anybody to bash him or hate him. So now I love and da-da-da-da. Trash.
I'm
Yeah.
like, girl, next, next.
Well, at the end of the day, to wrap this portion up, and we'll go to our next topic, is I want to say, and each of you can say, your piece. Little Nas X. At the end of the day, I support you in your artistry. Whatever you decide that you want to do that, and not let you being gay, homosexual lead you. Let your artistry, your music, and who you are lead you. Don't allow the creative minds of other people to tell you this is what you have to do. But I do definitely believe that you should always continue to live in your truth. And as I said in the beginning, we all have evolved. Think about 10 years ago and think about now. We all have evolved in our thought, in our perception, and just the way that we move about this earth. So 21 and 31, I'm sure you will have a different perspective, but we all should respect him and his artistry just as though other artists out there want people to respect you in whatever you deliver on stage or off stage or through your music. Anyone wants to chime in, and this is to Little Nas X just in case he happens to see it. What would you like to say to him and the people?
I just say, fuck all them, fuck them nerves, leave them nerves at the house. We don't want to see that, baby. Get on the stage, you look good, and do what you got to do. All that being nervous and messing up and things, I can't overlook that as a dancer, as an artist myself, and we gonna call them, messed up, but keep pushing through. I honestly, it shouldn't make you uncomfortable because you rehearsed it enough and keep going. So that's what I got to say.
Okay. Demi?
Eventually you will go from a Carly Red to a at least
Bitch,
Christina
shut
Milian
up.
in the dancing.
Bye.
The nervousness will go out the window. Because I get it, you still are in some ways new to performing, so I get that aspect of being nervous and being out there with the cases, but you're gonna get comfortable. And to be honest, just stop really caring what other people think about you. If anything, I love when I make people uncomfortable, which means that there's something going on
Okay.
in your head that
Right.
you've seen in me that you got to evaluate for yourself. And
Ditto.
hopefully his team does ease off on pushing an agenda on him. Like at the end of the day, he is an artist and he actually is passionate about it. I always say some artists just want to check, and I can see Lil Nas X, he claimed he'd been writing songs and all the other stuff and been wanting to perform. So actually let him be the artist and not push the Lil Nas X agenda on him himself.
Right.
I just said, God bless you, baby, and keep being you. Don't change you for nobody else, because at the end of the day, you have to be you and live with you. As long as you like what you're living with, do it.
I think what I would just say is of course thank you, because he could have hid in the shadows and in the dark like so many other people in the music industry. So thank you for telling the truth and just being who you are. But you lost me a little bit when you went from Little Nas Mirage, and then you hated Nicki, then you did a Halloween tribute. But we welcomed you back at the bar.
Oh my goodness.
But again, thank you for just your truth and for being honest. And keep your head on the swivel. But no, really thank you, because that takes a lot. That takes a lot, and we need more. We need more people. So thank you for allowing people to stand on top of your shoulders.
And I also want to say to the world out there, excuse me, you don't need to hate on or disrespect or have an issue with people like Nelly or people like Diddy who are praising him and giving him props. It's an artist to an artist giving them props for what they do. And I hate that the heterosexual community or their counterparts are giving them hate and flack for just supporting an artist. So I appreciated what Diddy said on Twitter, and I appreciate the video. I forgot where it was when Little Nas was, on a red carpet or taking pictures or whatever. And, there's a video of Nas walking and saying, all right, giving him his props. And I feel like if more people do that and become allies of us, then, eventually, your children and their children won't have these issues
Right.
or be centered around the media, the way it is now. So let's move forward to this last topic, because I'm not going to keep us long. But we're going to talk about this man here, Bill Cosby. Yes, come on, Bill
I'm
Cosby.
staying away from this.
Um,
Oh, Jesus.
Girls better talk
I'm
about the
staying
Richardson
away.
girl.
let's first let me first put this up here. Bill Cosby says, I have never changed my stance nor my story. I have always maintained my innocence. Thank you to all my fans, my supporters, and friends who stood by me through this ordeal. Special thanks to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court for upholding the rule of law. And that was hashtag Bill Cosby. And then his wife, let me pull it up now. Let me pull it up. Y'all know my eyes. She came up here. I know I got it somewhere. Oh, here we go. I think. Hold on, y'all give me a second. Well, what's her name? Felicia Rashad. She this was her rebuttal, first of all. She said, I fully support survivors of sexual assault coming forward. My post was in no way intended to be insensitive to their truth. And what else she says? Personally, I know from friends and family that such abuse has a lifelong residual effect. My heartfelt wish is for healing. Now, I thought I downloaded her actual initial post, but I did not, but I do have it. Okay, give me 1 second here, and I will. He says, finally, a terrible, oh, I do have it actually. Finally, a terrible wrong is being righted. A miscarriage of justice is corrected. That's what she originally posted. And then it was followed hours and hours behind with the statement that I read. So, how do we feel about Bill Cosby being released? And then we'll talk about Felicia Rashad. Go ahead, Demi.
9 things. First things first. I was on Twitter when she tweeted it, and the girls pretty much chopped her head off. They told her shut the hell up, girl. You need to go back to what's that movie that she was in with the other girls? They took my stuff.
The Color Girls.
Color Girls. They said they need to go back and focus on that. And that's what made her tweet that second tweet, like, you know, I understand and da da da. But let me say this. Bill Cosby, no. I personally feel like he should have just stayed there. I mean, he's out. Congratulations. Great for you. But Britney's still being held up. So, you know, I just think when it comes to like legal system, the girls really pick and choose what they should be doing from what they shouldn't be doing. And that don't make no sense to me. Point number 3. Finally, a wrong has been righted. What wrong was righted? He went to jail. He did it. If 950 people came and said he did it, what was I'm confused what the wrong was. And my thing is with the older girls, is that, you know, they are a knit tight bunch. These are girls that work with each other. That's my friend. He would never do that. It's so crazy that he didn't know. You know he was doing it. You were there. I'm more sure you was there. I don't have 7 of the points, but
Darnell, what did you want to add?
So let me say that I'm really not taking up for Bill Cosby. I just like law, and he was released on a technicality based off of the incompetence of people who are running the Philadelphia law system. So when I read and I reread Felicia Rashad's tweet, I read that in the mind that she was referencing that part and not necessarily commenting on the act of him actually doing or being guilty of the sexual assault and rape and drugging. I think actually, even when that was coming out with his lawyer at the time, Monica somebody or something like that was speaking, Felicia hadn't said anything. And I think that we don't know Bill and Felicia's relationship. And it could very well be that she was speaking primarily on the technicality of which he got released. That's about it. That's all I'll say there.
So one of my Live Nation family members said, I'm going to charge him, and I'm going to need them to charge everybody that was around him during the time and knew that, you know, that was going on. So yeah, John, go ahead. Mia,
I ain't got nothing to say.
I almost feel like me because the more I because I've read and like Jeremy said, like I really appreciate the law, right? Not that I appreciate it, but I like I just appreciate it. So with that being said, he got released on a technicality, right? So understanding that the first technicality was he was originally sued in I think 2005 in a civil case. It was sad. He testified in the civil case.
Not testified, but gave a deposition.
That part. He gave a deposition in the civil case in which the plaintiff was awarded $3.38 million.
Okay, in this deposition, did he admit to it?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
But you can't be charged for the
yes,
I'm just asking. I'm trying to be educated. Go ahead.
Right, but you can't be charged for the same
like
crime
to
twice.
Jeremy's point, you can't be charged with the same crime, and also you cannot legally self-incriminate. So that's what the technicality was. They allowed that testimony from that civil case into the trial, into the new trial. On top of that, they allowed the testimony of those 5 women. Their testimony had never been vetted. There was no proof. There was no evidence. So all of that was prejudicial. So that is why he was released 3 years later. Now, remind you, he was sentenced to serve 3 to 10 years.
He did his 3.
He did his 3. So for me, outside of all of that, like I have to take my hat off. I'm like, where are we as a Black community that we are celebrating him being released from prison after he admitted he went to jail because he admitted that Jesus Christ, man, like for so long, like I said, the Black community has adopted this mindset that it's okay to do shit as long as you don't talk of it.
Mm-hmm. What goes on in this stays in this house.
And that shit is crazy to me. That shit is so crazy to me. Like, I always have to look at people with a side eye when we have this Bill Cosby conversation, because I'm not saying that every single woman that, spoke up, there was truth to it. And I'm not saying that every situation was, forcefully or against those women's will. But what I am saying is that for far too long, the Black culture, and then specifically the entertainment culture, has promoted rape culture. They have made it okay to rape, and we have to start calling it what it is. We have to stop giving it these cute names. They have made it okay to rape people. And that is a problem. We are celebrating a career rapist. Jesus Christ.
And when you talk about celebrating and all that kind of stuff, it takes me back to when people celebrated, the community celebrated OJ getting the not guilty verdict, and people like, wait a minute, he killed her and this, that, and the other.
Whoa. If the glove didn't fit, if the glove did not fit, no. No, wait.
But it did fit. But it was a perfect fit.
You said what now? What did you say?
The glove did fit.
So
they did not.
Y'all
That's
know,
why they had to acquit.
Now we might have to do our own separate show just on the OJ thing, because y'all know I'm still at a question mark.
Obsessed.
I am obsessed with the case. I mean, I went by his old house, and I went by Nicole's old house where she was killed just a few months back. Twice, yes. So, but
don't judge him. Don't judge him. I'm obsessed also.
I'm not judging. I'm just stating facts.
So, what my Ladiana says, take his endorsements, cool, but I don't think to put him in jail. I think that it was too late. Time served, no tea. Let's be real. Can't expect for him to get life in prison when there are murders that they have let go and walk free in this thing. So let me hold on. Okay, we got Felicia. I'm trying to see if I had any more about Bill Cosby. What is this? Oh, that was Lilnasx. Yeah, go ahead. Somebody has something to say?
I ain't got nothing to say.
I mean, I just think it's so crazy when we talk about like the Black community, and even like if you tie in a Lilnasx conversation, and you talk about religion, they'll have baby showers for girls who are not married,
Mm.
right? They'll do these lavish homegoing services for murderers, drug
Mm.
dealers, all types of criminals. They'll do welcome home parties for rapists, murderers, drug dealers, right? But you
They
have a
have
gay
fireballs and
kid.
strip fest.
You have a gay kid. The end all be all.
I think
Like
honestly, if it's a few of those arguments, we really should just take marriage out of it, because it's really it's a business, it's a contract, a financial contract between two people and sharing assets, and it's about love. Um, so I don't know why we use that, but I don't condemn
who said something
any.
about marriage?
I don't,
Yeah, who said so? That,
you
yeah,
did.
I'm
You did. You said, well, we talk about we having baby showers for people who
oh, you're
aren't
talking about
married,
John.
and I just like to say that we
Well,
don't
when you talk
necessarily.
about religion, no. I think you took that out of context. When you talk
Okay,
about religion, and that being why why the gay community is not accepted because of religion, but in the same time, in the same thing, the Bible says that you should not have a baby out of wedlock. So I
well,
don't really
there's,
give a fuck about the
but the
institution of
thing
marriage
is,
either. But I'm talking about it all stems from the same place.
right, but it's still a misunderstanding of what marriage actually is, or whatever the actual religion is. Marriage isn't necessarily a vow that happens between someone else. It really is some connection that you have with another person, and then that connection or that relationship that you have with God. We don't ever actually have to put this and make this official at all. It's a quote in the Bible where I think David, when he would marry after he had sex with one person, and they didn't even like have that commitment. Like they had like a commitment between each other that we're gonna have sex, but also with God, because he said that we should have this, and therefore they were married. So when we talk about marriage and talk about religion, we don't even understand what that actually is in the way that we understand it and how we interpret religion.
Demi.
Yeah, I just wanted to tiptoe back to what Mia said, and it hit home for me because I grew up in a Caribbean household. I was actually born in Barbados, so I wholeheartedly agree with most of my aunts and uncles. Definitely had the ideology of, if something happens in this house, it stays in this house. There is no discussing it outside of the house. Then again, however, comma semicolon, if you tripped in the house, everybody in your family would know. But it would just be your family that would know. It wasn't giving, oh, well, let me tell you what Demi did yesterday. It was never giving that. And I feel like to put that into the Bill Cosby aspect, I feel like it was just more so along the lines like, we may have seen it, we may have known about it, but we're not really going to speak about it because we're making our money. You know,
Got
the
it.
Cosby
That's just
Show is
simple.
making their millions, their endorsements, they're doing their TV, TV debuts and TV appearances and stuff like that. He may be out here popping pills down like he works at the Pink, but we're gonna pay it because it don't really got nothing to do with us right now. So I do agree. Years later, yes, in a sense, it already happened. So I can see how some people want to pay it, but justice should be justice. I really don't negate.
I don't care when it happened. I don't care when.
Yeah, I don't negate when it happened, where it happened, the color of your skin, none of that. If you did it, you should be punished for it.
I agree.
And there should be some type of punishment for it. I do agree now that he's released and he can breathe fresh air again and all that other stuff. She looks nasty in that picture. That all endorsements should be rendered from him. He should not be now coming back out and be like, oh my God, Bill Cosby, the all tell story. I don't want another R. Kelly situation. I'm tired of that. I don't want nobody sit down. I personally do not want to hear. I want to hear his side of the story. I don't want to hear it. One thing for me, and my mother always taught me, there are 3 sides to a story, but if 19 bitches are telling you the same story, something has to be true. Especially if they're telling you in the same fragment of the sentence. If Billy tripped and Sarah said Billy tripped and Susie said Billy tripped and then Laura said, well, Billy stumbled, fuck her. But if everybody else is saying that Billy tripped, then maybe Billy tripped. So that's my tease.
Yeah, I definitely believe that,
that Billy Tripp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shade, Billy Tripp.
Billy Tripp.
Never got paid.
I believe that Billy Tripp multiple times. And at the end of the day, if you kill someone, you know, if a regular individual, we're regular individuals, right? So if we go and do something, we do a crime, we have to pay and do the time. There should be no difference for Bill Cosby, for OJ, for anybody, you know. Now the only thing that I really didn't care I didn't like that they did. I'm talking about like Hollywood was like, you know, taking Cosby Show off of the air and stuff like that, because there were a lot of other people that was involved in that show that got residuals from that show. And so I understand, yeah, Cosby was a big part of that. I don't believe in you know, stripping everybody from that, you know, from getting, you know, residuals. And, you know, some people probably are paying their rent from that, you know.
Right.
So I didn't necessarily believe in that.
When they let the man from what was that show with Ashton Kutcher and Charlie something where he was knowingly having sex with people and he was positive HIV and that show still is on the show. It really just highlights the discrepancy with how African Americans are treated on television and how a white Caucasian are treated on television.
Yeah. You know, it is what it is. You know, we are treated differently. Black television, Black celebrities are treated a lot differently than, you know, our white counterparts. I believe that. And lastly, so you know, Bill Cosby, you know, I still, at the end of the day, whatever you're going through or whatever you did, it is what it is. I'm not here to be your judge. I'm not God, but, you know, I wish you, you know, great health and all of that, because it does seem like you are losing your absolute mind. You know, it is what it is, but I wish you and your family the best. So let's lastly, just for a couple of minutes, let's talk about this young lady here. Miss Sha'Carri Richardson. Okay, Miss Sha'Carri Richardson, you know, we all know the story that happened, but if any one of you want, you know, Demi or John, if you want to enlighten us on the story about Sha'Carri and let the world know what happened earlier, the celebration and now the downfall of her, I would greatly appreciate it.
There is no downfall that happened.
Go ahead, hold on, Mia.
Okay,
Demi,
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, my girlfriend, she ran her event. The girls lived for it. Her time qualified her to go to the Olympics. And then somehow magically the girls found weed in her system, and was ready to strip her from competing. Later on now, she has taken a 30-day suspension, which will give her enough time to actually be able to qualify for the Olympics.
Yeah.
But I just have two things to say when it comes to her. First things first, again, when I was on the Twitters, the girls loved her at one point in time, but then, you know, one thing about Twitter, you have to be really careful about what you tweet, because the girls will pull up your tweets from the past.
There you go, baby, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, there we go. Let me see if I see her on here. She definitely tweeted at one point. There she go, at the bottom. If you support Lilnasx, you might as well unfollow me. And the girls felt like karma came back to bite her in her ass. And they felt like the reason why all this thing was happening to her is because she was being homophobic. She also has a couple of homophobic tweets. I think she cleared them up, but you know, the girls is nasty for a screenshot and save. Me personally, remove the weed and the homophobia tweets. I think she's amazing as a runner. I just think for her, she just needs to get a team, or her grandmother just needs to let her know that she needs to watch what she says when she says it. That was my only tweet on that. I felt bad for her, because here you are seeing somebody of Black descent, you know, really chewing it for the Olympics. You know, who doesn't want another Black person to get a gold medal in this? I feel like she would smoke all the bitches that are running, and then all this shit happens. So it's just really
smoke them literally. She will smoke them.
I disagree. I disagree. Y'all have to stop playing, because y'all have to look at the lady Sherry from Jamaica. You got to look at the kids. Alex Felix will be on the actual same relay team as her. I really hope they don't put Alex Felix on the first leg. However, I think it obviously the world demonizes marijuana usage for whatever reason, and it has no fatal effects as some of the other stuff that is legalized. And I don't know why we demonize that, but we just seem to do that. Not just the United States, but the entire world. I think I read something where like you can go to jail up to 5 years for pot in Japan, which is just obscene. I think though we should just stop saying that she was smoking kids, because it's some runners up in that 100-meter race that she was gonna have to compete against, and it was primarily some people from Jamaica, some of the USA team, where she ate all them up. But she definitely is going to be off suspension enough time to run the 4x1 relay. I hope that they put her on the fourth leg so we can actually see her run that time. And I'm pretty sure that time will be, she'll shatter again that 10.38 or 10.28 that she did win, and she'll bring it on down to maybe a 10.16, maybe a 10.1. I don't know. I'm excited to see her run. I do think that she shouldn't be smoking weed, but
I don't want to see her run. I don't want her to go.
I mean, but
Why
black people can't get on one accord to do that.
Baby,
No, it's not.
baby, fuck her.
First of all, she knew what she was doing.
Fuck that lady.
She did it, and she did not care. Now she wants to care when there's a problem.
I mean, weed should never been a problem anyway. It's very
I understand personal reference, but this is for the Olympic team. Just like that, everybody talking about Michael Phelps did it. Michael Phelps, yeah, he did it. They took his gold medals, and he was on probation for 3 months.
6,
not 30 days, 3 months, and they took his gold medals. So she don't need to go. Period. You knew what you were doing, and you did it. That's saying you didn't want the job. Your job said do not smoke unless you don't want the job. You smoke, but you don't want the job.
The thing is that America wants those medals. So if they know that if they put anybody else in that front into those races, that they're not going to win. The most talented, as a matter of fact, the gymnastics team is primarily made up of African Americans. The track team, African Americans. We put anybody else in the races, we're not going to win any medals, actually.
Hey, but just like they did old girl that was pregnant 3 months, well, she was 3 months pregnant or whatever, and they wouldn't let her go, and now she's come back and going to the Olympics.
That's Allison Felix.
Yeah, and Nike dropped her and everything, and now they trying to get her back, and she don't want it.
Yes.
But like I said,
listen, that's America. That's
John?
America.
I think sometimes when we talk about like the black community not being on the court, like it just like that's so unfair. It's like it's really, really unfair. And I'm gonna say it like this: I am a pothead. Like I smoke all day, every day. And a part of being a pothead is I know that there are certain jobs and certain careers and certain activities that I cannot participate in because I smoke marijuana. My nephew played college football. He couldn't smoke marijuana. We all have friends that are athletes, dancers, and because of that, they choose not to smoke marijuana or do any drug. So you mean to tell me this girl competing at the highest level now it's a conspiracy against the Olympics and black people? And no, that bitch should not have been smoking marijuana. Period.
I love you, JonJon. JonJon, I love you because you think logically. It's logic.
I think that
that's not a black thing, bro.
I'm not making it a black thing. What I'm making it is that we really should just look at what marijuana is, and it's not essentially a drug at all. It comes from the ground.
I get that. Rules are rules. Rules are rules. Period. I don't think there's no way around it.
I mean, but can we apply that same logic to the Jim Crow era?
That's not the same thing.
What was the rule?
She's making a choice. She's making a choice to compete in the Olympics. These are the Olympics rules. Nobody's making her quit smoking marijuana.
She read that before she ran. She read all this before she ran, and she decided to do it anyway. So your decision comes with an action, and they beat your ass out and send you home. Don't be mad.
My issue is not with the Olympics.
I agree.
My issue is not with the Olympics. My issue is with her because you are representing a community of people. Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
But this is the thing. This is what really pissed me off about her. I did it because they told me my mom had died and I needed to take it and deal with it. Bitch, this is your biological mother. You didn't even know until the reporter told you. And then you had to go smoke. So all these years you didn't know this hoe. She died. But you know her now and you smoke.
I just want to look at the thing that there is trauma with
help me understand.
Community. It's just trauma, and we don't know. We can't say for sure as to why she did smoke. We can't say, she may have had that knowledge to why she shouldn't. but there is unaddressed trauma within the Black community, and that is within our maternal and paternal parents. So we can't really. I'm not saying that the Olympics should have not reacted the way that they did, because they certainly have the right to do that, and she certainly has the right to not even compete and or to just take that punishment. I think we as a Black culture just got so wrapped up in like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she did this. She got that. She took the punishment. Let's move on. She's still going. She's gonna run in the relay, and she's probably gonna run the anchor leg on the 4x1. I mean,
Okay.
I just
So because I want to know, and maybe you all know. If you don't, I'll research it later. So once they do the qualifiers that take them to the actual Olympics, of which she did, and she was qualified, I wonder, is there a timeline or is there a process that says, okay, once you have, gotten qualified to go to the Olympics, now you have to go through these steps. One of these steps, you have to be tested, for drugs and all of that. So
once you make the Olympic team,
Once you make the Olympic team,
I can't get over
once you make the Olympic team, you go through they give you the booklet of what's going to happen when you make the Olympic team.
Yeah,
once you make the Olympic team and you get through the qualification, you make the Olympic team, you're going to get tested, you're going to get shot, you're going to get punctured, you're going to be you meet this person, has your meal person, everything. You do all that once you make the team. She made the team. Bitch, the day she made the team to go get tested, she on the way to the test.
So foolish.
That's what we have to call it. It was foolish.
It wasn't foolish. She knew what she was doing, and you get what you get because you think I'm the best, I'm the fastest. They're not going to deny me. Guess what, girl? Denied. Next.
Well, she just got denied for one race. She qualified for many events. Her time, the U.S. coaches would be a fool not to put her in any other event. She qualified for both.
People are going to hate me for this. People are going to hate me for this, but I will make her an example. No go.
But as it looks,
no go.
I mean, as it looks, it's saying that where I had that
she's back in. She'll get 30-day suspension, which ends
July 27th. Which time to run the women relay.
She gets to run.
Gonna run the women. She's gonna run the 4x1, and I'm pretty sure she's gonna run the ankle leg, which is the 100-meter dash, which they're gonna.
So it doesn't really happen.
She's gonna get that.
Really. Give me a moment. So with that, there is no conspiracy. You know. I mean, at the end of the day, she barely made it, but there is no conspiracy.
It is a conspiracy. Well, it sort of is, because individually, you obviously want to win those with the team, with the 4x1 relay or the 4x4 or whatever, but you also want to qualify individually as well, because that really just showcases the hard work. Sha'Carri qualified for the 100-meter dash by herself and broke the world record at the same time at the Olympic trials. Okay, so let's be clear. That record.
But where's the conspiracy? Where's the conspiracy?
The thing is that why she get a 30-day suspension and not able to defend that title? First of all, if you break the world record, you want to be able to defend that at the Olympics against the fastest people, because all the adrenaline is running. She won't get a chance to going. Yes, on the 4x1 team, which means that she has now the opportunity to blame anything that happens if she don't actually win on 3 people in front of her. If she runs the ankle leg, or if she leads the race off on the first leg. I doubt that they put her on leg 2 or leg 3, but I know for a fact they'll put her on leg 1 or leg 4 just to either get a head start or to either bring the race home. But it will be as a team and not necessarily her individual, where she could defend that title, where she kind of smoked those people in that field and ran that 10.38. That's why the conspiracy is.
Can I ask Jeremy a question? Can I just ask Jeremy a quick question? So my question is, if it was a white runner on the USA team that tested positive for marijuana, are you saying they would not have suspended her?
You say what?
If, say for example, a white runner on the USA team tested positive for marijuana, do you feel like they would have not suspended her because she was white?
I think I'm not saying that. My conspiracy is not because she's black they doing that for her. I think it goes far beyond that. I think it's other runners who have been trying to break that 100-meter dash record. It's probably one of the most contended races at the Olympics, and I think this year's women are probably going to be the most to watch. And the fave to win the 100-meter dash at the Olympics is Sherry, somebody I think from Jamaica.
Yeah, Jamaica.
And she was going to have a hard time. If she were to win that, she's going to win it by a skin on a hair or something. If she had to run against Sha'Carri, because they were going to push each other to end of the line. I think that she is the most favorite coming into that, and I think that's where the conspiracy lies.
Okay,
So let me
go ahead,
let me just rephrase my question. So
Absolutely.
if it was a white girl that had broke all of those records and it was the front runner to run against the girl from Jamaica, Sherry is her name.
Well, let's not
the same?
Well, let's not speak in hypotheticals. The reality is that white people don't run that fast. So, okay, and they're completely they can't do that.
You got it.
They can't.
You're pretty. That's all that
So
matters.
in other words, no, they wouldn't
listen.
They wouldn't have did it if she was white. They wouldn't have did it if she was white.
No, they wouldn't. But I'm just saying that FloJo held that record for the fastest woman for decades.
But she just won't
to do it. It don't matter. That makes it even more triumphant.
Yeah. Oh, but I just think she needs to be taught a lesson, because you can't.
She does.
She got big-headed. She got big-headed in that moment, thinking I am superior now, and they're not going to tell me no. They're not going to tell me no, and that's just what she thought. I don't care what nobody tell me. That's what she thought. That's why she did what she did and went in and tested. So who's dumb enough to smoke weed before you go get tested for weed?
A 21-year-old, 22-year-old, because she's
a 21, 22-year-old. At the end of the day,
I don't care. Age has nothing to do. You know you was going to the Olympic trials. You got that book of rules and regulations before you ran this shit. You know what you were doing and what it called.
What I've learned as a teacher,
prepare for the Olympics their entire lives. People prepare for the Olympics their entire lives.
But this
she
is
didn't start
just
getting ready for the Olympics last year. She didn't.
No, I agree. She haven't just started.
She didn't smoke weed when she was running for college.
We don't know that.
We do.
Do we?
Yeah, that's what she said. She said, I only did this because I was distressed about my mother dying and I needed release, and her friends gave it to her.
We can call BS on a story like that now. We can call BS on a story like that. Now, let's not be that naive.
Oh,
yeah,
I know.
I'll say this.
Weed, but not the day of a running thing or a day to be tested. Because they test you in college. Because if you get scholarships and stuff, that NCAA, they're going to test your ass. She know not to take it. But
and
this
she went to LSU.
Yeah.
And I'll let me say this. So, Sha'Carri, rules are rules. For every rule that you break, there's a consequence. Be thankful that you had a 30-day suspension and not a ban on the Olympics altogether. So take that as your blessing. In disguise. To the world who wants to bring up her tweet, I honestly don't give a about what her issue, her stance, her whatever her problem may be towards the LGBTQIA community, because what she eats doesn't make me shit, and vice versa. So I really don't care. We've all said some crazy stuff somewhere. I don't care about that. And when people want to bring all that stuff up, it is what it is. You have the opportunity, the chance, and the choice to support her or not. And moving forward, what you cannot strip from her is her hard work, is her determination, and what it took for her to get there, because it's a very small percentage of people that will ever get that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to praise her on that, and I'm going to tell her, girl, make better choices next time, and hopefully you learn on this time. Anyone else would like to talk to Sha'Carri or say any lasting words in regards to her?
I got nothing to say, but sit your ass home. You should stay home.
Fuck her. Yeah, girl, fuck her.
You're rude ass. You want to smoke weed? Now sit home and smoke weed and watch the Olympics with us on TV.
Demi?
Watch the Olympics with us sitting home smoking weed.
Demi say it's good.
Demi, I said everything you needed to say.
Yeah, you said I'm so good on it. You said everything I needed to say. Thank you so much.
Got it.
Yeah.
What I said, was that a bad thing? I mean, nobody.
No, you didn't say anything bad. You said what it was. You just said I don't give a fuck because she eats and shit, not eating shit, and ain't got nothing to do with me. But she shouldn't have smoked that weed.
Yeah. Oh, I like I said before, rules are rules.
But did you notice all the drug addicts came up and said that she should go because she's smoking weed? Snoop Dogg said something. Cardi said it. What's the boys? The three of them together, the Runaways, the Amigos. All of them came out and said something. But these are people that smoke weed.
The Runaways.
Now you don't listen to that rap Flula.
Darnell, anything you wanted to add? lasting words?
Yeah, yeah. It's just really to highlight that they're always going to give African Americans a harder time. I just thought about how they are scoring Simone Biles at the Olympics, and how she intentionally puts very difficult, high-scoring moves into her thing, and they still score her with along the same lines as her counterparts, or people who don't look like her, or who for the less difficult moves, and when she's supposed to be well beyond leading, especially in the field of gymnastics, both on beam, vault, and on the floor.
Hmm.
So I'm looking. I can't wait to see her on double bars. But I just know that the fact that they aren't even scoring her based off of the actual rubric that they have, but so we can keep other gymnasts safe. Because white people are not going to actually try and go for those moves, or Russian, or Tokyo, or Japan, or Japanese, or all these people, Asians, who are not actually going to go for that. But the African American girl who is going to do the double full twist and pike on the floor or off the bar or on the ball. Um, so it just really just highlights how harsh they do treat African Americans in these kind of environments, these high competitive environments. So while I do not agree with Sha'Carri for smoking weed, I still think that them hoes were scared that she won't come out into that field and dust them hoes again and break another record.
That's
So
why I was
I'm
mad
gonna
at
leave it
her.
at that.
She gave them white people something to pick at her for, and that's why I'm mad at her.
Right.
She gave
And
them a reason
like,
to pick at her, and she could have went over
and
there
I'm
and
sure,
shut them up. But she chose to give them a
and
reason
I'm
to not
sure
let her
growing
go.
up, all of us came from households.
And
I'm sure all of us grew up in households where we grew up hearing like, we have to be better. Like, we have to be
Hmm.
better than our white
Hmm.
counterparts in everything that
Hmm.
we do, because we're
Hmm.
not treated fairly. We're not judged fairly. And that's not okay, right? That's not okay. But we know that it happens. So because we know that it happens, we always have to be better. We always have to present our best. And that's why I don't have sympathy or even empathy for her in that regard, because you're competing at the highest level. You know that all eyes are on you at every single moment, at every turn. So I expect you to be a champion and be at your best. And then in turn support your other counterparts like Lilnasx, who are facing the same type of ridicule that you are
Mm.
for just being yourself with that horrible ass weed color and long ass ghetto ass nails that you wear. So you got to give and take, but that's girl fuck her.
she she's from Dallas, and that's how the kids do in Dallas. Okay, that's
She
what they
look
do. That's what they
crazy.
look like. She's from Oak
She
Cliff.
look crazy.
But you can listen. We can call it what we want, but that is their culture. We can look at Megan Thee Stallion and say, bitch, Sha'Carri, they all resemble that. Beyonce is hood like that too. Megan
She
Thee
don't look
Stallion
like
hood.
that.
Erica Banks, Sha'Carri,
She don't
all
look
these
like
people
that.
are
She don't
hood.
look like
That's
that.
Dallas.
They don't look
Simone
like
Biles,
that.
I gotta give Simone Biles
So
her credit. How you brought Simone Biles and give her credit. That girl is basically gonna have to start competing with the men to get the right points.
yep.
That's the only way they're gonna score her fairly,
It,
because everything
it's
they
not
do is
gonna.
above average for females.
I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave you all with this. I forgot to put it up, but I think it's a food for thought. About Lil Nas X. It says it baffles me when LGBTQ plus dislike Lil Nas X because he is extra. Lil Nas X is a 22-year-old millionaire with a career height at 19 years old, longest number one in history. He knows this and is now using his platform to break barriers for U.S. primarily black gay folks. Be extra, baby. Uh-huh. So
Be extra, baby.
be extra, but that's another conversation for another day where we'll talk about how, just in our community, how, oh, we want to shun the gays who do this, but not the ones who do this, and whatever. There's different levels to this shit. So yeah, I want to
I just
thank.
feel like there as a
Go ahead. Oh,
I
you
was
done?
just like as a community, I just think we should really think about that. What happens in our house should stay, and go beyond the actual physical being of like my intermediate family, but people who also look like us, represent us on the world stage, and that while some of us may be disappointed in Sha'Carri for doing that, I think blasting and retweeting and being on social media and reprimanding her out in public was not the way to go, and especially not staying with that. What happens in our house kind of stays in our house, kind of thing. That's a me thing.
Okay. Well, I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of Micah's mini break conversations. We'll have many more conversations. You'll see these individuals here and there with other individuals. And if you would like to become a part of one of my series, definitely let me know and I can get you in. I think the next show I'm going to do is probably, if it's not, it'll probably be in the middle of next week. And then, of course, 2 weeks from now on a Saturday, we'll record and all that. And yeah, so we talked about Lilnasx X, versus the cis het black community. We talked about Bill Cosby, aka also known as Pill Cosby, and we also talked about Sha'Carri Richardson and
Sha'Carri.
the ordeal that has happened with her in the Olympics. We wish everyone well. Blessings. Thank you once again, John Balenciaga from Florida, Demi from New York City, Darnell, who's currently traveling to New Orleans. Didn't mean to tell you the location, but lives in Dallas.
I know.
And Mia Monet, who is in Los Angeles, California. And as always, I always end with a
Yes.
quote. For a second, y'all hang on for a second, but I always end with a quote of the week, of the night, of the day, of the month. And this quote says, "Be who you want to be and not what others want to see." Again, be who you want to be and not what others want to see. Okay? Until next time, each and every one of you be blessed. I love you all. And please continue to wear your mask if you have not been fully vaccinated. I greatly appreciate it.
It's the talk with my
How do I do it?
and friends. It's the talk with Micah and friends. Grab all your friends and gather around now. They're gonna have a real good time. It's the talk with Micah and friends.